The boxers have been given their instructions. The seconds are out. The crowd is ready for another edition of Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing with your presenter, the boxing historian, Greg Rashid.
Well, I want to say swaddy krop to everyone out there, which means hello and Thai. This is Greg Rashid with another edition of the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast. And actually, I have to say, this is a special edition. I hadn't obviously planned to do this one, but we lost today a legend. I mean, my goodness, one of my favorite just people. You know, I never had the opportunity to meet him, but George Foreman passed. I just am devastated. Those of you who have followed this program over the years, we have had, fantasy fights with George Foreman. I mean, I just really loved him. He was just a great boxer and, more importantly, a great humanitarian, a minister, just a great person who just shows the example how you can reinvent yourself. For some of you young folks out there, you may not know that Foreman at one time, when he was first champion in the 70s, until he was beaten by Muhammad Ali, I mean, he was considered just a bully. Just, no one wanted to interview him or anything. They just thought he was one of the meanest people ever. But he reinvented himself. After he lost to Jimmy Young, he retired for 10 years and became a minister and just doing God's work, and he came back, and ended up becoming heavyweight champion of the world at the age of 45, the oldest heavyweight champion ever, beating Michael Moorer. Just amazing in the 10th round. Just an amazing story of redemption. And what we're going to do on this program today, it's going to be very brief, and I have to say this, if you're new to the program, what we do on this show is fantasy fights. We do what-if fights. What would happen if Muhammad Ali fought Mike Tyson? What would happen if Rocky Marciano fought Sonny Liston? We do things like that. And today, we're doing a fantasy fight to honor George Foreman, and we're going to have him fighting using Legends of Boxing 2 PC game. We're going to have him fighting Frank Bruno. And I chose Frank Bruno because and George Foreman's second comeback as a fighter, they were fighting in the same era in the 90s, and this could have happened. That would have been a really stimulating, fun fight to see, but we're going to do that on here today, and we're going to have the one and only Knockout Nigel as our commentator. So take it away, Knockout.
Cheers. This is Knockout Nigel, your humble commentator, reporting live from the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, where the atmosphere is absolutely electric. The crowd is buzzing with anticipation as two heavyweight legends, Frank Bruno and George Foreman, prepare to square off in a scheduled 12-round bout. The stakes are high, the tension is palpable, and the stage is set for what promises to be an absolute war. Let's dive into the histories of these two gladiators before we get into the action. Frank Bruno, the pride of Britain, is a towering figure with a record of 40 wins, 38 of which came by way of knockout. Known for his devastating power and granite chin, Bruno has faced some of the toughest heavyweights of his era, including Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis. On the other side of the ring stands George Foreman, the ageless wonder. Big George, as he's affectionately known, is a two-time heavyweight champion with a record of 76 wins, 68 of which were knockouts. Foreman is a living legend, having fought in some of the most iconic bouts in boxing history, including the Rumble in the Jungle against Muhammad Ali. Let me comment that this is a partisan Foreman crowd. The smattering of Brits here are being drowned out by the cheers of Foremans. I have promised not to be biased in my reporting by favouring my fellow Brit, Frank Bruno. Let me get a quick swig of bubbly before the battle commences. The bell rings, And here we go. Round 1 is underway, and both fighters come out cautiously, feeling each other out. Bruno, the taller man, is using his reach advantage to paw at Foreman with tentative left jabs. Foreman, ever the tactician, is blocking those jabs with his high guard and countering with thudding hooks to Bruno's body. The crowd roars as the fighters stand toe-to-toe, neither willing to give an inch. Bruno lands a stiff jab that snaps Foreman's head back, but Foreman responds with a looping right hand that grazes Bruno's temple. The round ends with both men trading leather in the center of the ring, but neither fighter has landed anything significant. It's a feeling-out round, but the tension is building. I am impressed how Foreman has mastered the cross-armed high guard of his tutor, Archie Moore. Bruno will have his work cut out for him, getting through it. Round 2 begins, and Foreman is picking up the pace. He's no longer content to sit back and counter. He's coming forward with bad intentions. Bruno tries to establish his jab again, but Foreman slips it and lands a clubbing right cross that fractures Bruno's right cheekbone. The sound of the punch reverberates through the stadium, and Bruno staggers into the neutral corner. Foreman smells blood and pounces, pushing Bruno back into the corner and connecting with a brutal right hook. Bruno tries to clinch, but Foreman shoves him away and lands a left hook followed by a right cross to the temple. Bruno's legs wobble, and he looks like he might go down, but the bell rings to end the round, saving him from further punishment. Bruno's cheekbone is swelling rapidly, and the doctor is called in to examine him. After a brief inspection, the doctor allows the fight to continue, much to the relief of the few British fans in attendance. How Bruno's corner and the doctor have allowed this fight to continue is a wonder. Round 3 starts, and Bruno knows he's in trouble. Sensing that the fight could be stopped at any moment, he comes out aggressively, throwing caution to the wind. Foreman, also sensing a quick night for himself, has lowered his guard and rushes toward Bruno. Bad mistake on George's part. Bruno lands a thunderous right cross that stuns Foreman and sends the crowd into a collective shock. Bruno follows up with 2 sharp left jabs and another right cross that has Foreman in trouble. Foreman backs into the far ropes, looking unsteady on his feet. Bruno is pouring it on now, landing a vicious combination that forces Foreman to step back. Foreman, ever the warrior, tries to respond with a clubbing right hand, but it misses badly. Bruno counters with a left cross that snaps Foreman's head back. The bell rings just as Bruno is about to unleash another flurry, and Foreman stumbles back to his corner. His face is beginning to swell, particularly around the eyes, but he refuses to sit down, standing in his corner and staring across the ring at Bruno. Round 4 begins, and Foreman is a man on a mission. He comes out throwing 3 consecutive left jabs, all aimed at Bruno's injured right cheekbone. Bruno, showing incredible toughness, shakes off the pain and fires back with his own left jab that connects cleanly on Foreman's face. The fighters meet in the center of the ring, and Bruno lands a right cross to Foreman's chest, but Foreman slides slightly to his left and delivers a crushing left uppercut that buckles Bruno's legs. The crowd is on its feet as Foreman pushes Bruno into the ropes. Bruno tries to respond with a left cross, but it misses, and Foreman capitalizes with a left jab, followed by 2 left hooks to Bruno's already damaged cheekbone. Foreman then lands a devastating right cross that sends Bruno reeling into the ropes. Bruno is holding on for dear life as Foreman lands a final left cross that knocks Bruno's head back violently. The referee has seen enough and steps in to stop the fight at 1:59 of the 4th round. The winner by technical knockout is Big George Foreman. The crowd erupts as Foreman bows to the partisan audience, who have been firmly in his corner all night. Bruno, ever the warrior, protests the stoppage, but it was the right call. His face is a mess, and he gave it everything he had. But tonight, Foreman's power and experience proved too much. Foreman is an all-time legend as a boxer and as a humanitarian. I will now return you to our Bangkok studio. This is Knockout Nigel. This is Knockout Nigel. Cheers.
Man, I could really see that happening. And it could have happened because they fought, when Foreman came back the second time in that era in the 90s. And I could see that. George, it's just it's unbelievable what, George is gone, but he has a great legacy. And I would recommend, if you haven't seen any of his fights, that would be hard to believe if you're listening to this program and you're a boxing enthusiast. But check out it may be on YouTube. There was a VHS, how old this thing is, and I later had it on DVD, and I think you still can get it on DVD. So, documentary, 2 hours long, called Champions Forever, and it features Muhammad Ali, Joe Foreman, Frazier, George Foreman, Ken Norton, and Larry Holmes. And it's something, because the backstory of that is that Foreman was like, more or less, he got everyone together in that fight. In that documentary. He got everyone together, kept the peace and everything. And it's really a fun documentary to see. So if you can find it, Champions Forever, check that out. But I just want to thank you for listening to the program today. We're going to close now because it's just so amazing. And I just wanted to do this tribute to George Foreman. And just remember, our times here are very short on this big blue ball. So do what you can to bring some peace in a community and help someone along the way. And do what you can and wake up each morning, look in that mirror and say, you love yourself. If you're sight impaired, get up, hug yourself and say, you love yourself. I love myself. And do what you can to make wherever you are in this universe a better place, as Foreman did. And you can always have opportunity to redeem yourself as George Foreman did. Make yourself all over and bring some positiveness to the world. But again, this is Greg Rashid. Go in love and go in peace. We'll see you next time on the Shoulder Roll Virtual Boxing Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thanks and have a great day.